Hi, so today we're going to look at something a little bit different. We're going to look at some anti-rotation exercises. And I know that sounds a bit crazy because golf is a rotational exercise, but both rotational and anti-rotational exercises are really, really good for our golf. So obviously we like to, when we're playing golf, the transfer of energy up through the legs, the trunk, the core, down the arms and into the club is what helps us hit the ball a long way. The anti-rotational exercises basically just help to decrease any energy leaks through that chain as the energy is transferred from one part of the body to the next part. So obviously as one part is accelerating, we need the part before to decelerate. And doing these exercises actually helps to prevent the leaks and helps us to get more energy through our body and down into the club, which hopefully will hit the ball further. So today we're going to look at some of those exercises and you can give them a go. So first up, we are going to do some shoulder taps. So if you come down onto the floor, with this exercise, so we're going to really try and fight the rotation in our hips. So we don't want our hips to rock at all. So we're going to have to really engage our core to stop that. We're going to have our hands a little bit closer together. If you take your feet slightly wider to give yourself a larger base, it's going to make this exercise easier. So we're going to start off easy because I would rather you had a slightly larger base and no hip movement than your feet too close together and that you are rocking too much. You can always bring them in if it gets too easy. And then what we're going to do is, without letting our hips move, just taking one hand off, touching a shoulder and bringing it back down, and then touching the shoulder. So taking this hand off is making us really stabilize through our core and fight the rotation because you naturally would want to turn the hips. If you do about 20 of these reps, also as well as helping with the power leaks, training obviously the anti-rotation, we're really working our core, and if we can work our core and make it stronger, you're going to prevent injuries as well. So this is another reason why you should try them. So next up, we've got some plank pull throughs. So we're going to go down into this position again, and then this weight is going to just sit behind one of the hands, and then what we're going to do is with the opposite hand we're going to pull the weight through and then replace the hand. Once again, we're going to really try and fight the rotation in our hips and really engage our core when we're doing it. Okay, so going up into this position here, and then I'm going to take one hand off, lift the weight and move it across. Really squeeze through the glutes, squeeze through the core. And you're better doing this at a slightly slower and controlled tempo than doing it way too fast and starting to rock. So I would once again do 20 of those, so 10 in each direction. You can obviously change the weight to suit you. If it's a slightly heavier weight, it's obviously going to be a little bit harder. So start off easy and then see how you get on. So next up, we are going to do a lateral bear crawl, but I'm going to use this strap. This is a What's That strap. You can get them online, but you could also use two longer resistance bands. You can tether them together and you could make your own, so you don't necessarily need this strap. So I'm going to put it on over my shoulder. It's going to go round my back first, and then I'm going to rotate round. So this is obviously, I've put it to the cable machine, and it's going to be pulling me this way. So when I'm doing my bear crawl, it's going to make me really, really, really have to focus on not being pulled into the cable machine and fight that rotation. So we're going to come down into this position here. My knees are just off the floor, and I'm going to be moving opposite hand and opposite leg together. So we're going to come across. I'm really trying to keep a nice flat back, pretending there's a glass of water or something on my back, and then just really slowly coming out, fighting that rotation, and it's really firing through my core. Okay, when you get out as far as you can, we'll then go back Once again, controlling it, not letting yourself rotate. Control. And then all the way back. And I would typically do, I'd go out and back maybe twice on this side, and then I'd switch around. Once again, the weight on this will make it harder. So if I put more weight onto the cable, it's going to be pulling me more, which is going to make me fight the rotation more. So just play around with it and do what suits you. And then you can always try and make it a little bit harder in your next set. So our next exercise that we've got is a Pallof press. So I'm using the cable machine and I'm going to step out. It's going to sit at about chest height. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to press the cable straight out in front of my chest and then bring it back in. I'm trying to keep the shoulders and the hips level, so squeeze through the glutes as well as squeezing through the core. And we're pressing straight out and then coming back in, and we're fighting obviously any rotation because you naturally would want to go there or tip, and you have to really try and fight that. And I'm going to do about 15 to 20 of these presses. If you want to make it harder, just add a little bit more weight. Obviously, it will pull you more and you'll have to fight the rotation a little bit more. And last up, we're going to do a plank, and I'm going to do a cable row with it as well. So once again, this is putting me off balance, and I'm going to have to fight that and try and keep my hips stable. So I'm going to go into a plank position here, and then keeping everything really stable. I'm then going to, I'll just move back a little bit, there we go, from here, rowing the cable in. And I would do 10 on one side and then 10 on the other side. If you want to make it a bit harder, put your feet a little bit closer together, or increase the weight. That actually is quite hard, and you will also work your arms a little bit as well. So give that a go and see how you get on. So those were a few anti-rotational exercises that can really help your golf. Why don't you give them a go? Let me know how you get on. And if you like this video, check out some of my other workout videos on the Precision Golf YouTube channel. See you next week.